Hello and good morning, everybody. Good morning here in the UK. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. And today I have this Mercedes GLA, and as we're going into winter here in the UK, it's a good idea to have a few things checked in your car, such as the oil level, screen wash fluid, check your coolant level, and also check the tire pressures and whatnot. So those are the basic things. Really, we should check them through the year, but specifically going into winter. That way we can sort of avoid dramas and issues. Um, Otherwise, things can obviously surprisingly happen, and therefore it's a good idea to be prepared. So I got here the manual for this GLA, and if you haven't got the manual, so this might help you, but in the manual it tells you how to check the oil level and where it should be. So we're gonna have a look at that in a minute. And also the manual shows you the type of oil that you can put in your car. So this particular model is a 200D, so this is the diesel version. It sort of same principle for the petrol or even any other cars as well. It doesn't have to be specifically a Mercedes, but when you're checking coolant and things, it's gonna be a very similar procedure. But the oil level sometimes in Mercedes is more specific, and luckily we do have a dipstick on this one, unlike a lot of models now have an electronic sort of dipstick, so it's a bit, well, it's not a problem really, but you do have to rely on what the electronic measurement is telling you. But anyway, this is the old-fashioned one. Although it's not really an old-fashioned, I prefer having a dipstick and physically knowing how much oil is there. Right, so we can have a look at that. So the first thing is I'm going to open the bonnet, and then we'll check the manual and we'll proceed that way. And the last thing I will show you is the tire pressures. So believe it or not, some people may not know how to open the bonnet on their cars, and in this particular car, being this is a, as I said, the Mercedes, most Mercedes are the same when it comes to opening the bonnet. Let me just change my camera here. So I am here in the UK, so this is a right-hand drive, and to open your bonnet you'll go down here, and although you can't see much, you can see this red, where is it, here, this red lever. If you pull that down, it will open your bonnet, and that most Mercedes have that. Even from the year like 2002, they have the same sort of red lever having down there. So now we can go to our bonnet. And check. Right, so somewhere in here, if you put your fingers through there, there's gonna be a little another lever that you need to flick, and then we can okay, it's just here. So that little yellow lever there, you flick it to one side and then open the bonnet, and then you have the strut there which you need to lift to hold the bonnet open. So I'm just going to do that now. Right, there's the strut. You have the coloring yellow there, so that's where it goes. And when you put your fingers through here, that's the bit that you open. It's kind of nicely color coded, and you also have the, as soon as you open that, you can notice this yellow thing here, and that is the dipstick. And that's how we're going to be checking the oil. So the manual, what does the manual say? It says make sure the car is on a level surface and preferably cold, because that way all the oil would have gone down overnight or over a few hours. You can, if you have been driven the car, if you have been driving, you can leave it parked for a few hours and then come and check your oil. Not the end of the world, but preferably when it's cold. So let's try and check this. I'm just going to show you the manual. So here's the manual. The manual does show you, these are two models. So this is for the petrol engines and this is for the diesel. The instructions say pull out the dipstick, oil dipstick, wipe off oil dipstick, and slowly slide oil dipstick into the guide tube as far as it will go and take it out again. If the level is between minimum mark 3 and maximum mark 2, the oil level is correct. If the oil level has dropped to minimum mark 3 or below, top up with 1 liter of oil. So we have the minimum mark. In this case, I have the diesel engine, so minimum mark 3 and minimum mark 2. And what it's saying is that if your level is in between these two, so somewhere halfway there, your level will be okay. If it's down here or below, then you should top up approximately a liter. Obviously, if it's below, you might need a little bit more than a liter. But you can top it up until it's halfway. In Mercedes, so this I learned from actually somebody that made a comment and said the oil in Mercedes is not usually checked up to the top here. Is halfway, it's where it usually the top is. And having read the manual, I realized they were right. So if you fill it to the number 2 point here, it will basically might be overfilled. You might get a message saying it's been overfilled in the car. So if you do have to fill or top up about a liter, then there is another section here, obviously, that shows you what oil types you can use for diesel engines or petrol engines. Let me just have a look at that. This is where the oil filler cap is, by the way. We're going to have a look at that in a second. And let me check where the oil types are. Right, page 359. It shows you the oil types. Petrol engines, all models. That's the Mercedes-Benz approval 229.5. And for diesel engines, 228.51, 22931, 22951, 22952. I normally use 22951. 5W30. It shows you here as well what you could use. It says use SAE 0W40 or 5W40 for AMG vehicles. And also you have another oil recommendations here. Hello, Agent Otto. How are you? So you have for petrol engines 229.3 ACEA A3B3, and for diesel angels, no angels, could be an angel, engines ACEA C3, so 2293, 2295. And you have the capacities here that you would use if you were doing an oil change. So we're doing a level check. We know what to look for now. So I'm going to remove the dipstick, wipe it. Oh, you're watching from Kansas City. What time is it over there? It's 11 o'clock in the morning here. Thanks for watching, by the way. Okay, let's take this dipstick out. I'm going to wipe it. Maybe wear some gloves if you have some, so you don't get contaminate your hands. So these are the levels. You will be able to see it says min there, min and max here, and we're expecting the oil to be here halfway. So that's nice and clean. Dipstick. I did say that. Okay, put it back in, take it out, and I can see my oil is at the minimum in this one. You can see the dark area there. Mine is at the minimum. So the manual also says that the car go to sleep. Bye, George. What was I saying? The manual says the engine can burn up to a liter per, no, as 800 mils, so 0.8 of a liter per 1,000 kilometers. That's quite a lot, to be fair. But I did see that somewhere. If I can find it, I can show you. Right, you might, don't know if you can see that, but depending on your driving style, the vehicle consumes up to 0.8 liters of oil per 1,000 kilometers. The oil consumption may be higher than this when the vehicle is new or if you frequently drive at high engine speeds. That is, it really is a lot, isn't it? So that's why it's important to check the oil level so we can keep it topped up and not have any dramas, obviously, because we want to look after the car, specifically the engine. So Now I need to top up about a liter, considering mine is at the low, and I am going to do that now. I've got some 30 somewhere here. Right, let's go and top up some oil. So that goes there. And I want to I think I did. I'm just getting some gloves on so I don't get oil on my hands. I would recommend that. I'll add a link if I... These oil caps can sometimes be really hard to open, by the way. So sometimes I use a pair of pliers and just grab it so I can twist it. Unless you're very strong. So I'm going to top up about... I've got 800 mils measured in my can here, even though the manual recommends a liter if it's in the minimum, but I just want to check and show you. So obviously when you top up, we'll have to wait a bit for the oil to drain down. And obviously the longer you wait, the more accurate of a reading you can have. And if you're impatient like me, then you don't wait too long. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not actually. I'm very patient usually, but we're just trying to get this done so we can move on to topping up some screen wash fluid and checking the coolant as well. Right, that's nice and clean. Put it all the way down, take it out again. And you may be able to see it's gone up to halfway. Maybe a little bit less halfway, but well, actually, yeah. But it's gone up a bit. I guess it depends which angle you see it from, but you can see the difference. Or it was down there, now it's just there. So I got 800 in there. And I mean, to me, it looks okay now. So although they do recommend 1 liter if it's at the minimum, so we could go ahead and put 1 liter. It wouldn't be any harm, but since I put 800 mils I think I'm gonna leave it there for now and drive it because they are very sensitive. I had another car, I had another Mercedes that it had a little bit more than half, and it was giving me the message to drain some. So having that message means you have to drain a little bit, and unless you have you could have an electric pump to drain some oil. Otherwise you have to drain it from underneath. But draining the, when you remove the bolt underneath, the pressure sometimes doesn't let you put it back on, and it all gets messy. I was working on a Mini the other day, but it was a Mini Countryman. And the Mini Countryman, the later one, well, the one I was working on was a 2016, and that really burns a lot of oil. It's got the Peugeot engine. If you didn't, if people didn't know that, Minis have French engines. But the engine is fairly reliable, but it just burns a lot of oil. Okay, close the cap. I'm happy with 800 mils. Happy not to be in the minimum anyway. So from this point we can move on to the screen wash fluid. So screen wash fluid in this car goes in this here. Oh, you saw that video? Yeah, that was that Mini Countryman, and a lot of, well, all the Mini Cooper, the Mini 1, all the way from 2000 and, what is it, 6, 2005. They all have that very similar engine, which is the Peugeot one. It does burn oil. It's a very, well, everybody likes a Mini. Not that they are as mini as the previous Minis, as the original Minis from the 70s. They were really mini, but the later Minis are quite nice, I must admit. But they do have that engine that is very loves oil. As long as you check the oil and keep it topped up, it's quite a good car. Right, screen wash fluid. So I don't know if you guys, well, here in the UK we had some news the other day that hundreds of these containers are being shipped all around the country, ready mixed. And basically what they were saying is that they are basically shipping loads of these which are ready mixed, which means they are just carrying water all around the country. So it's best to buy the concentrated version, and then you can mix it yourself, because what they were saying is, well, you have water at home, so you can use the water at home rather than shipping hundreds of these where they have a little bit of the fluid and then water. Anyway, you can see it as you would like to see it, but maybe it does make sense. Right, so I normally buy the concentrated one because I'm always working with cars, and I have to, well, I mix it myself, and obviously it works out a bit cheaper, but definitely use the proper fluid, because if you just use water and you just put water in there, then in the winter it freezes and it can expand, crack your tank, and or even obviously it's not going to come out the jets, even though some of these jets have heated heads. So the little heads of the jets are heated and they can dissolve the water, but that's only for the water that's at the tip of the jet. The rest of the water in pipes will be frozen. So if you use the original stuff, this is up to -20, and obviously if you're in the North Pole or somewhere very cold, you may need a stronger mix. And then we can top this up. Mine was actually topped up not long ago, so just for the purpose of the video, that's where it goes. But you can see that it was full. And again, if you put water in there with washing up liquid, it just becomes a very foamy mess. So don't do that. Not a good idea. And that's it. And once you have one of these, you mixed it, you can put it in the boot luggage compartment, and always have it there, because that fluid runs out quickly, especially in winter. So that was easy enough. Oh, you had several of the original minis. Oh, they were nice, isn't it? It's so hard to get to come by an original mini nowadays. It's almost impossible, or you have to pay a lot of money to buy one. Oh, I can imagine. Wait, -35? Blimey. Okay, you would need a lot of concentrated fluid. That is pretty cold. Here, I don't think, in the UK we have had a -10 degrees maybe at some point. -35, wow, that's deadly cold, isn't it? Don't know how they survive in the northern or southern places where it's -50, -60, I don't know. Extremely cold. Don't think I could do it. Right, let's move on to the coolant. The coolant in this car. It's sitting in this tank. Now, since you are checking all your fluids and levels and whatnot, in a cold, the car is cold, we can safely open this cap. If your car is hot, you've been driving it, just don't open this cap, because you can get extremely hot water coming out of there and burning you pretty badly. Yeah, some cold winters in London, but in the past few years it has been getting less and less. Well, it's been warmer and warmer, isn't it? Or sort of changing a little bit, isn't it? It's getting colder in the southern hemisphere of the world, and it's getting warmer in the northern area of the world. Okay, our coolant is in this tank, and if you shine a light, if you have a torch or something and you shine a light in there, just like that, on the side of the tank, I'm just going to show you, you can see an orange color. Right, can't hold that. Okay, there. You can see this orange color, and if there wasn't any fluid in here, this would look just clear. It will be just white. So I can already tell there is coolant in this tank, and I'm aiming to check that it's up to this sort of area here. So I can definitely see it's up to this area. And then if you look in there, you can see the coolant. So you can see that coolant is orange in color, and now I'm gonna use a little gadget to measure the actual percentage of coolant that is in that tank. I'm using this device. I think the coolant on this car was replaced 3 years ago. So I think the manual recommends changing it every 2 years. Not that I've seen many people doing that. Right, I've got the gadget, the worth. This will tell us at what point this coolant can freeze. So I'm just gonna suck some of that coolant into here. Just gonna close that valve, and we're gonna let it settle a little bit. And it's sort of settling around -35, -40. Sorry, I've got someone visiting. I may have to leave soon. So anyway, as I was doing here, right, let's check this again. Right, so the needle is settling at about -40 right there. So -40 is good. I'm happy with that. There's a lot of devices out there that can measure coolant, by the way. Yeah, -40 will do. There's a lot of devices like this that can actually check your coolant percentage. So I'm actually happy with that. I'm happy with the level. I'm happy with the percentage of antifreeze. And again, it's very important to have antifreeze in there because antifreeze has certain agents and minerals that protect the engine from corrosion. So again, if you only put water in there, if you had a tank just with water, that means your engine has got only water. In winter can freeze, and it can actually damage your water pump and your engine in general. So make sure you have antifreeze. And it doesn't matter if you're in the North Pole or you're in the Sahara Desert, it's going to be a necessity. You need to have some level of coolant to protect your engine. Sorry, I just had a question there about brake fluid, which is a good point. The brake fluid in this car is actually in here, and again, if you shine a light to it, you can see it better. It's that yellow there. You can see the yellow around here, and you do have a max mark just there, if you can see that. So this is sitting a little bit below the max. So this is a 2018 Mercedes. Now there is a gadget to check your brake fluid. Which I happen to have somewhere here. Let me see. I haven't used it for a while. I don't know if it's working. So it sort of tells you how dirty your brake fluid is. And again, they do recommend changing the brake fluid every 2 years. So you get that, and so we know the level is good. We can allow to be a little bit lower than the max. That's not an issue, because as the brake pads wear down, the fluid goes down. Right, I'm not sure I can, oh yeah, I could. So if I switch this on and I put it in there, you can see the little yellow light that's come on there. So don't let that fluid go, by the way, drip onto your paintwork, because it will strip it. So what it says there is that this is in this area here, your brake fluid is okay. It says it's okay. If it was in this area, so it's less than 1% contaminated basically. Then you have the second light here is 2%, 3 and 4. If you're in the 3 and 4, you want to change that brake fluid. You want to have it bled and replaced and whatnot. So it's a handy little gadget, because a lot of people don't really do a brake fluid change. So this one is good. Thanks for reminding me of that, by the way. I haven't used this little thing in a while, but we usually do a brake fluid change. And let's not forget to put that little cap back in there. And close that. This one has this car has an electric power steering motor. So there's no fluid in this model. So a lot of the newer engine Mercedes and BMWs and many cars now have electric power steerings. So they don't run, they don't have fluid, they don't have a reservoir. I think next time I should do, I've got a Mercedes 190E, and that definitely needs to check up. And it's the old-fashioned one, so we can check that one out. I also have a BMW E36, the 1992, and that definitely has power steering and whatnot. That I need to get that out of my, it's been stuck in a garage for years, and it needs to come out. At one point, no, this is the 200 diesel. It's a 2-liter diesel. Looks like the W246. It kind of looks a little bit like that, I suppose, but let me show you here. The GLA 200D. So I think with that, we've covered all the fluids here. Now, one last thing I wanted to show you was the tires. So have a look, I would say, have an inspection of your tire. Sometimes you can see little bubbles that come up, or like bulges that come out. So if you have something like that, then you want to replace that tire. And also have a look at the thread. You can use you can use one of these little things to check the thread. So that one's got nearly 7 mils of thread. It's quite a new tire, to be fair, and so you can do the same with all your tires, check for bulges and whatnot. Yeah, this tire has been replaced recently. And now I'm going to show you the oil pressure. Sorry, not the oil, the tire pressures. If we go around the back, around the, let me see if it's in here. Right, in the fuel cup here, you will find the recommended tire pressures for your car, and it's depending on the size of your wheel, size of your tire. If you have a 215 60R17, you are going to look at this part here. So if you're carrying 3 people and a little bit of luggage, or yourself and whatnot, they recommend 250 kilopascals for the front, 250 for the back. And if you're carrying more people and more luggage, heavy car, 300 and 300. But this is 250 is 2.5 bar, 2.5 bar. This is 3 bar. And if you have a bigger tire, 235, like a 18-inch rim or 19, then you are gonna use these recommendations: 230 for the front, 200 for the back, and 300 for if you have more heavy weights. So you can find the tire size on the wall of the tire. This one is a, what is it, a 215 60R17. Well, yeah, I've noticed that some vehicles go from like a new system to they revert back to the old system because the electric, we have had some issues with electric power steerings. I haven't had one in a Mercedes, an issue, but I have had in the BMW E90s. They have suffered with electric power steering issues, but not that bad, to be honest. Right, so I have a 215 6017. So I've got the one up here, 215 6017. And I would put, this car is usually empty, so 250, 250. That was 2.5 bar and 2.5 bar. No, I didn't actually check the battery. It's a good idea as well. Thanks for the tip. Let me check what 2.5 bar is in PSI. Some machines at the petrol station, you use, they don't use bar, but they use PSI. So 2.5 bar is about 36 PSI. So 36 PSI for the back, 36 PSI for the front, unless you have more weight, which then you put 3 bars, which is a little bit more than maybe 38 PSI. And battery, that was a good point. So the battery voltage, you can check if you have the the tools really. The battery goes here. It is a little bit awkward to get into that battery, but we could either use the direct battery terminals, or we could use the jump start terminals, but there might be some obviously resistance loss if you check it through the jump start terminals here. Let me see if I can remove. I mean, I have removed this before, but don't want to break anything just now since I'm playing with one hand. But if you have a multimeter or a battery checker, I'm just going to bring the one I have and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, just managed to get that up a little bit so it slides towards yourself, and then we lift it up a little bit. So I just connected my device. It's this is a snap-on showing 12.2 volts. If we do a test of it, it gives us the battery life. So at the moment the battery life is showing to be good. Now a lot of these batteries on these newer cars they have this AGM technology for start stop. They have a start stop technology, obviously, so the batteries are quite powerful. So anyway, we have a good battery, but this is the device I use usually for checking that kind of thing. Right, let me try and fit this back. Brilliant, but I think we're mainly doing the basic checks, so these are a little bit more in-depth, but basic checks for the average person that's just going to drive every day. I would say coolant, screen wash fluid, oil level, may be quite important. And that's a good point. Lights, should check the lights, brake lights, side lights, indicator bulbs, all that kind of thing. and I'm gonna have to be going soon because I need to do a service on another car. It's a Mini Clubman, and it also needs some preparation, as it's for sale at the moment. So I have a busy afternoon, but I wanted to cover these points here. If your battery was below 12 volts, does it need replacement? It might do. I mean, to be honest, if you drive it every day and it's showing below 12 volts, then it is on its way out. But if you don't drive it very often, just once in a while, then it may just need a bit of driving. Oh, no worries, mate. We'll catch up on the next live that I do. It might be, so I might be doing another one of these on a different model. We might use one of the, I got a BMW E90 here, which is an older one, and we could check that out. Do have a Nissan. Well, there's a few cars that I can do just to cover a number of cars, and obviously different people that own different cars. But anyway, thank you everybody for joining me. Don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope everybody has a good day, wonderful day. And it's a little bit rainy here today, a bit humid and raining in London. But thank you very much. See you soon.